we got a full crowd today. Just as we start, Vice Mayor Riccardi will not be attending today's meeting. He's got a family emergency, so we'll just be the three of us. So I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Cyclone?
Yeah, but you could do.
Teresa.
Good afternoon, everyone.
That's the other guy, yeah, whatever.
Our scripture for today is from Philippians. Forgetting what is behind and straining what is ahead, I press on. A week ago today, June 6th, was Veterans Day, the 79th anniversary. Hard to believe. My wife Karen and I used to take riverboat trips to on the Rhine, Mosel, Danube River over in that part of the world once a year. In the year 2007, we went on a trip on the Rhine River, and we met a fellow passenger named John Brooks. John and his wife were assigned to share a table with us for meals, as most of these cruises do. And in talking, we found out that we both were veterans, and we both had been in the 1st Infantry Division. The only difference was John, June the 4th of 44, went ashore there at D-Day. He was in the second wave. First wave went at 5:50, and he went at 6 a.m. I was 10 years later, but we both wound up, we were stationed, of course, at different times in the same town of Bamberg. Well, John and I became really quite good friends during this trip, and we stayed in communication, letters, email, phone calls, and all that for quite a while. We had found out that I was speaking Memorial Day to some students at Newland Elementary School. So I called John on the phone and asked if he would send me a list of some of the things that he encountered happened to him on that landing on D-Day. Soon I had a letter back from him, and I'd like to share this letter with you. So, dear Cyclone, I arrived in England in April, part of a force getting ready for the invasion of France to defeat the Nazis. My first night, I was assigned charge of quarters. That's, people who haven't been in the military, that's when you stay up all night in the barracks and see if nothing goes wrong, look out for everybody. And this was absolutely the loneliest night of my life. It was my birthday. I had turned 19. I had just arrived, so I didn't know anyone, and here I was, a lonely teenager, thousands of miles from home. We trained every day getting ready for the invasion. No one knew when it was coming, but we knew it was. Finally, on the 5th of June, we boarded ships for the invasion, but the weather was so stormy the invasion was postponed. The next day, 6 June 1944, we were ago. I was on a Higgins boat, which is a landing craft where the front of it drops down there and the soldiers all pile off onto the beach. This is where we were to go out the front, but everyone was seasick. The first boat went ashore to the landing at 5:50 a.m. I was in the second wave 10 minutes later at 6 a.m. I was the radio man for our outfit. My radio weighed about 40 pounds and strapped it on my back. We were all supposed to go out the front door when we hit the shore. I could see as soon as it opened and dropped that a German 50 caliber machine gun was mowing our boys down. They couldn't even get out the door. Most of them died in the boat before they ever hit the door. So what I did, I climbed over the side. This saved my life. I was the only man on the boat with about 25 people to live. The radio was so heavy I almost drowned and had to dump it in the water to save my life, along with my rifle. As soon as I got ashore, I ran as fast as I could to the bottom of this horrible cliff. There were about a dozen soldiers who were huddled there from the first wave that had landed. And we were there for what little protection we could get from the gunfire. One of the guys was an officer, and he told us we had to find some way to contact headquarters to see what we needed to do. He asked if anyone knew how to operate a radio. I told him I did, but that I'd had to abandon mine when I got out of the Higgins boat. He looked towards the water and said, there are dozens of them floating in the ocean and on the beach there. I said, would you volunteer to go get one? I volunteered. I raced as fast as I could, dodging bullets, abandoned equipment, dead soldiers, and so forth, and I grabbed the first of many radios. I also grabbed a rifle. I raced back to the group and looked at the radio and saw my name on it. Out of the many on the beach, I picked up my own radio. Our little group joined up with a larger group, and we made it to the top of that terrible bluff. We took enough land after we got up the top that we were able to bring in some reinforcements. The next day, the Germans mounted a counterattack. I was struck in the leg with a phosphorus heat grenade. These grenades, upon impact, they'll explode and be flames. But this grenade, for some reason, it didn't go off when it hit my leg, or I would have been killed. The grenade hit the artery in my leg and severed it, but I would have bled to death, except this grenade heated enough that it cauterized my artery shut, stopping the blood and saving my life. The corporal, or the medic in charge, pulled the grenade out. He gave me a shot of morphine. He taped it up. We were so short of men, I didn't even get sent back to the hospital. The medic said, son, ain't nothing wrong with your shooting finger. Truly, God wasn't ready for me that day. I fought the rest of the war with no wounds. I was so fortunate. We lost so many of my friends. Tell your students you speak to remember those guys. They were the true heroes. Your friend, John. Now, I'd always wanted to go to Normandy, and after meeting him, talking to him, we planned a trip. And I called John to tell him we were going, and I was going to give him a report when we got back. And he was real anxious to hear how things went. A couple of weeks later, I called him, and he answered the phone, but he had no idea who I was or any memory of having ever met me. It seemed that a couple of weeks before, he awoke in the morning with no memory of anything in his life after his high school days. So evidently, a form of PST had set in after all those 60 plus years that he'd been through this. May you rest in peace, John. Would you bow your heads, please? Lord, we thank you so much for this day. We thank you for this place. Pray, Lord, you'll be with Joe, our president, Roy, our governor, Barry, our mayor, Bob, our town manager. Be with all our council, Lord, and we ask you to be with the United States of America. Continue to bless us and continue to bless Beach Mountain. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I need a motion to open up the public hearing
Motion.
on the budget.
Motion.
All in favor? Aye. Anybody want to talk in the budget?
Yes, I do. Robert McMichael, 710 Hungry Road. Well, I promised this last time I'll talk to you about this year's budget. It's not perfect. It's a compromise, but we'll get through it. I do have some suggestions for next year when we have to go through all of this again. From my perspective, the biggest issue is information. We all have similar questions, and for all of us to call the town manager to get an explanation is not the most efficient way to get information to the taxpayers. Our questions basically reduce to where's the money going? Yes, you published a budget, but it's like 200 pages long and consists of 3 different funds and 3 different funding sources. We, the people, need you to condense that information into a couple of pages of bullet points. What are we getting that's new? Why are we spending this money? You got a home run every year with the nickel that you spend on EMS because we need it. There's just no reason not to. I would compare everything to the golden year of before we did all the reevaluations. That's our baseline. Why are we spending more than we did then? Because that was a pretty good year too. And if I were going to run for council, that'd be one of my promises. Hopefully that'll be one of your promises if you all run. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, I need a motion to close the public hearing. All in favor? Aye. Motion passed. Okay, Teresa Berry, you got something on on the public comments?
Yes. I'm Therese Barry, 100 Squirrel. I came to say something nice. I couldn't believe it. I was so delighted that I and other people got thank you notes from the town employees. A collective note, one note, signed by the town employees thanking people for having the employee luncheon. And I thought that was great. I'm not the only one who thought it was great. In a time when people don't thank you for anything, and people, because they have no manners, don't send thank you notes, I was absolutely delighted. I don't know whose idea what it was, but kudos to whoever that person is. The other thing I'd like to say is, could we maybe use the convenience center tags to let residents park in the paid parking lot? That's it.
Thank you. Okay, a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Mayor, just per your request, I've got on the board the Wynn Memorial Park proposal.
Have we got to that?
Well, that was on the
That was
consent.
part of the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
So
can you
just as-
talk a little bit about it?
Sure. This is a gift from the Volunteer Fire Department to memorialize their 50th anniversary. They're funding this in its entirety. It's at the existing Wynn Memorial Park, which the fire department and the town jointly went forward to build that park. It's a sign board out front, as well as a stone V-shaped walkway and memorial to lifetime members and past fire chiefs. And it's been funded 100% by the town, or by the Volunteer Fire Department. The Board of Directors voted to build it, and of course the town will maintain it.
And just for the record, it's page 40 of 118, you see the sign that they're talking about.
So hopefully, I'm biased of course, but hopefully it's a big improvement to our town and acknowledging the fire department for 50 years of service to the town. They wanted to make this gift to the town.
He's from here, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a student at Lee's McCrary also or something?
Yeah.
And he was at Wrightsville. Did he take a job in Wrightsville as a fireman, or
He was a firefighter there and perished in a fire. And this park was dedicated to, in his memory by the fire department.
Any questions? You all set?
Thank you, Mayor, for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, old business, I need a motion, I've got to read this before we approve the motion. Motion to approve the introduction of the bond order entitled Bond Order to Authorize the Issue of $15,000 general.
Million, Mayor.
15 million obligation, general obligation water system bond of the town of Beech Mountain, North Carolina. I need a motion.
So do you mind just going through the motions on, this is gonna go on the general ballot in November?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and this is something that the community can approve or disapprove. This is also something that is a future request depending upon whether or not Town of Beech Mountain needs this based on the other, just go through the other grants one more time.
Sure. This is, we're in the middle of our steps to get a bond referendum before the voters in November. And this is one of those steps that we have to comply with state law to get this properly before the voters. The process, it's for the Lake Coffee Reservoir. And we have 3 funding sources that are currently underway. We have a FEMA grant of $14 million that's currently being reviewed by FEMA. And I've reported, we haven't been told no, so we're anxiously waiting for that decision to come down. We've gone to the state legislature and asked for $14 million. The mayor and Councilman Abernathy went and met with the legislature, our legislators, and we hired the Haggerty Group to lobby on our behalf, and that is progressing as well as can be expected. We got excellent response. We communicate weekly with our elected officials. This morning on the conference call, I said we're balancing that fine line between being the squeaky wheel and being the squeaky broken wheel, because I literally talk to them or communicate to their officers once a week, and we don't want to bug them. So the state has been asked for $14 million in the budget appropriations, and we haven't heard how that will go. We haven't heard a no as well. Lastly is this bond issue. The bond issue is up to $15 million. It has a 7-year draw period. So depending on what funds, if any, we get of what I call free money, then we would have to draw on the bond to finish that project, make up the difference if there needs to be a difference. This process, what you'll see, what you've been seeing, and then through this month, you'll see it again in July, some other decisions you must make, is to get us on the ballot in November for the electorate to vote yea or nay on the bond.
Okay, and it's only for this project? So
Only
this
for-
bond is only for this project, and when would it expire? If it's approved in November, does it just sit out there, or does it have some
You
type
have,
of?
well, if it's approved, to answer your first question, it is only for this project.
Okay.
The ballot language has to be very specific, and it's for the Lake Coffee project, the building of it, the piping, the pumping, all the things that will be incorporated in that project. You have 7 years from the date that it's approved, assuming it's approved by the electorate, to take some or all of the bond money. You don't have to take it all. You don't have to take it all at once. We have 7 years as the project moves forward to draw from that bond. After 7 years, you're locked in, and it's a 20-year bond. So if you take money and sell bonds, it's a 20-year bond payment schedule. But after the 7 years, and I'll have to defer to our legal mind here, there is an opportunity to go back to the public and back to the legislature, or not maybe the legislature, the LGC, but for all intents and purposes, you'll have 7 years to take those funds.
Okay, so the public is not gonna see any change unless we have to use this. So it's
Yes.
just sitting out there.
Well, the
Wait.
process, after we go to the electorate, and assuming they pass it, there is no effect. You have to then, we have to come back to you. You have to approve the bond issuance. The bonds then have to be put together in a legal format in the amount that you require, not to exceed the 15 million. And at the point those bonds are sold on the bond market and we have the proceeds for the project, it would be the next subsequent year where a portion of the property taxes and a portion of the utility bills would be increased to pay for the bonds.
Okay.
Or the interest rate on the bonds, they're less than from a financial institution?
Traditionally, yes. We cannot publish a interest rate because we don't know what it is.
Correct.
We have to make a filing, and you'll be doing that, we'll be bringing that to you. We have to make a filing to the LGC in this summer that will set not only the cost, but the anticipated interest rate that we'll pay, and then what the amortized cost to the voters will be. We have to tell them that in November, before they vote, what the anticipated cost is to fund this project.
And this is amortized over all homeowners and landowners on Beech Mountain, correct?
Yes, if you recall, the council chose this method, which is a more difficult method. And this is so that all property owners who benefit will pay about 70% of the bond proceeds and 30% of the utility customers, which are fewer. So all vacant land will be benefited by this process, and they'll be paying a share of the cost as well as the utility customer.
So our other option would have been for the council to have approved just going to the bank and borrowing the $15 million at a higher interest rate.
You could have done that. If you recall back at the Buckeye when we had the presentation, we had
Right.
3 ways to go.
Right.
And that was the most expensive way.
Correct.
We also could have done a revenue bond, which would not require going to the public and asking for their approval. And that would have been 100% funded by the utility bill. And those properties that were benefited that aren't on the utility system, vacant properties to be specific, would not contribute towards the debt. And you decided not to do that. And so all property owners and all utility customers will share in this expense.
Mr. Mayor, I'll add that even if this passes and this money is available to you, those other options would still be available up until the time you decide that you want to draw off of this bond. However, the general obligation bonds almost always have a lower interest rate than other types of financing because the collateral under a general obligation bond is better for those that are buying the bonds as opposed to the collateral being only the utility system, for example.
This was put together to be as cost-effective and the least impact to the individual taxpayer as possible, spreading it out amongst as many taxpayers as possible and getting the lowest interest rate.
Okay. Thank you.
Do I need to read it again?
No, sir. You may if you want, but you're not required to.
We're good.
I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, I need a motion to set the date for the public hearing on the general obligation bond and related matters. That's on the next council meeting,
It will be July 11th.
July 11th.
We'd like you to call for a public hearing on the general obligation bond.
Motion.
So we do that during the council meeting, correct?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All in favor?
Yes, sir.
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you. New business, I need did anyone have any discussion on the budget?
No, sir.
Okay, I need a motion to approve the budget.
Make a motion?
All in
Second.
favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, I need a motion to approve the land lease with the Beech Mountain Resort.
Be glad to
Yeah.
approve that.
Yeah, well, is there any discussion? Have you read? Anybody have any questions, issues?
So we're 99 years on this.
Correct.
From what I was reading. And, like where we were with Emerald Outback, what happens after? I mean, I'm hoping I'm not around 99 years from now, but it just goes up for a renegotiation, I'm assuming.
Yes,
from
ma'am.
What I was reading here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They'll send me a letter up.
A letter to, yeah. Yeah, I didn't really have any questions on this one. This seems like, to me, a no-brainer.
I agree. I think it's definitely something that we definitely need, and I appreciate the resort
I think too,
for finally coming together to put this thing together.
Mayor, I had invited Ryan Costin to be here tonight to share in this. This is monumental between the town and the resort, a public-private partnership. It's his birthday today, and he asked if he could renege on coming to see us. I told him that would be fine.
So, and again, I go down the road of information. The only difference that the town of Beech Mountain had here was the Watauga Lake Intake Project versus what we have sitting here in the packet. So do you mind just two different scenarios? I like this scenario, but the other one was us 7 miles down to try and pull water from a place people don't want us to pull water from, right?
Well, you summarized it very well. The Watauga River, all of that is still in place. We have not abandoned any of that. We still have leased land on the river. We still have some preliminary engineering. There's two issues with the Watauga River. One was political, uphill battle trying to get the county commission and the river keeper to see it as a benefit, which I believe it was. That's surmountable. What wasn't was it's not cost effective. The project can be built similar to this project for about the same amount of money. We had estimated $20 million some years ago to do the Watauga River project. The problem comes into the energy cost to pump the water up the mountain during that 60-day drought period that we had put in place. That energy cost bordered about $1 million a year. When you divide that out over our 2,000 and a few customers, it's not cost effective. Our monthly utility bill would be unsustainable to be able to put that system in place. So although it's a good, it was a good exercise and it was engineering, it was feasible, we can't afford it. Lake Coffee, about the same cost to build it. Obviously, we had to partner with the resort. What's important here is after the construction project is over and we pay for it over 20 years through numerous funding mechanisms, the operational costs are less than $100,000 per year. And that's because we simply have to pump the water from the lake over the Pine Ridge, and then it's gravity feed down to the water plant. Much more cost effective over time, and our utility bills, don't double or triple. So this was the preferred choice that we presented to you some time ago, and we're progressing, and this is what we believe is our best answer and solution to the town's water problems.
I think this is a major step forward. Thank you for the information.
All right, any motion to approve the agreement?
Yep.
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passed. Bob, just to go back, I know it was part of the consent agenda, but we've got the creation of a general grant project budget ordinance.
Yes, sir.
Can you give some background on that?
Yes, we applied for and received a $400,000 grant from the ARP money, and that's a sewer shed study in the Grassy Gap sewer locale. It is predominantly a study, so most of the money is in engineering. It is to camera the sewer system, find where the water is infiltrating the system, come up with an engineering design to repair or replace it.
We'll go back to the state for funds through the SRF when when the study is done to make the repairs. We were able to secure the grant and purchase I think it was $32,000 sewer camera, little tractor camera, out of this project, which we will use not only for this project, but in other areas of the town.
Did the town write the grant?
Yes. Yeah, actually, it came from Steve Smith, Daniel Davis, myself, and Benji from West Consultants. So there's no match. It's a straight $400,000 grant. And we're going to go to bid. And now that you've approved it, we're ready to go to bid and get it done.
Now just see if you can get another grant and add another zero to it and put $4 million in our infrastructure.
We're working on that.
Well, we thank them for the money.
Yes, we do. Free money is good.
Free money is good. All right, Bob, you're up.
All right, let's see. I didn't know if you had taken a look at our financial report. The general fund, let me see what page I'm on. It looks like page 86. So the benchmark is 83.33% of the year is complete. Our revenues are above that at 87.3.
Thanks to interest.
If you will notice, our interest income is over 1,000%. We'll happily take that. As importantly, the expenditures are almost 10% below revenue and 10% below the benchmark. So I thought, I'd highlight that because we've had discussions during budget that may have alluded to the fact that the town was spending money frivolously, and that's not true. So the department heads have done a great job, and our finance director in keeping the budget intact. So the budget overall is at 75.34% on expenditures, and every department except tax collection is within that benchmark. If you take a look at the sanitation, in the budget that you've approved, we do have an increase in sanitation fees, and the reason being is we're short in sanitation. And the explanation that I gave you last month and during the budget process was we were waiting for a full year of operation to see how the commercial dumpsters impacted our sanitation. We also removed some sanitation expense personnel. Councilman Abernathy, you asked us to go to 2 people at the recycling center. We did that, and those costs have been realized. We still are about 4.5% below revenue over expenditures. So that increase that you approved will go towards that.
I did notice that on sanitation, that we had a spike last month. Is there
On Public Works is where he shows the tonnage.
yeah, is there any particular,
Well, I think we're out of our shoulder season. I need to look at that real quick before I speak.
because last year, using the same comparison, we were at 55 tons,
Yes, sir.
and now we're at 63
Yes, sir.
from a year ago. Do we have any particular
I do.
reason why we had that spike?
I don't. I can ask Mr. Davis to give me an answer. It's obviously increased. That's measured at the Watauga transfer station, so that's a very accurate number. That's what we get billed for. I'll ask for an explanation and get that to you.
Because if we go through the year, we're always below except for last month.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how June pans out. As you see from last year, June and July spike, obviously, because the town is full
Right.
with people. I'd really like to see if we have a trend in the next month to see if we are exceeding last year's tonnage, and that may help us understand what's going on there. Well, it's not I guess it is a good thing, but financially it's not a good thing to exceed it because our budget is based on that trend, and our tipping fees are quite expensive. So every ton that we have to tip is
No,
take to the
I
landfill.
realize that, but I was just curious what the spike was.
I'll get an answer or get an opinion.
So on the sanitation fund, what's gonna be do you have a guesstimate on what's gonna be the increase there?
We propose $5 per month.
So where's that, in relation to where we are year to date?
Well, it won't show up in the year-to-date. That won't start till October, or July 1st.
So, but approximately how much more, revenue will that be to offset the expenses? Approximately.
I don't know.
Okay,
What I
that's
asked, well, what I asked finance to do was, it's pretty easy math, I just don't have the answer real quick, is the deficit, and then we divide it by the number of customers. We know how many, it's utility customers, plus some passes that are sold, and it's almost a break even, so
Right.
that's how that was done.
Okay.
That's how the increase was figured. I don't know how that anticipated the revenue. Steve, do you know off the top of your head?
Oh, we just looked at what we were short this year, looked at these short, and, you know, $5 based on the number of customers we had, I made up that. We weren't trying to get anything additional, just,
Break even?
Yeah.
Okay.
If we can break even, we're in good position there.
Yep.
We do run a little fund balance that we've had to use here this year, but that's because we had no increase last year, and we were still getting the recycling center and the convenience center settled down from opening. All right, unless you've got any other questions on department reports, Parks and Rec is looking good. They had some very good numbers. Their memberships have doubled, as he noted in his report. Our planning and zoning numbers are as we expected. Ski loft project. The town attorney recorded 24 agreements in Avery County, and we've made those payments. The mayor got to sign checks while I was out on vacation, and he was surprised, shocked, I think, that we had all those payments going out. But ski loft, 24 have been recorded and paid. I've got 2 more originals. We had some problems where the county didn't accept some of the signature pages, so we had to go back and redo those. They're coming in. Kate Gervais is making that happen. And we expect to go to bid in late June or early July on that project. We're up there, in fact, doing some work this week, trying to get us through the winter till next spring. The Town Hall Visitor Center project, as you can see, it's underway outside. I apologize for the mess. I told them they couldn't dig anything until after today, so that's why everything's backfilled. We've moved the visitor center to the Bark Park, as I've reported in the past. We put up signage, and we've got some good exposure out there. We do have quite a few people coming to the window at the relocated visitor center, so that seems to be working out well. But you'll see by Armando's numbers that those visits have dropped dramatically because of the relocation. Lake Coffee, again, you approved the agreement. We're going to start geotech work in July. We'll be drilling 27 test holes to ascertain what's below, not the 2 lakes, but in the middle where the dam's going to go. And I've reported to you how the funding sources are progressing. We talked about the sewer shed grant. House Bill 247, I know that wasn't on the tip of your tongue, but that was passed. Representative Dudley Green's office stepped up to the plate for us. In a nutshell, it's a local bill that says that before Avery County can record a deed, a land sale deed, they must check with Beech Mountain to make sure that our past due taxes have been paid. In the past, that wasn't clear, and we were losing out on some taxes after a sale. So Representative Green's office, I thank them for pushing that through, and it did get passed. Our wayfinding signs have been installed. You recall those were funded last year by the TVA. Hopefully you've all had a chance to take a look at those. Hopefully you like those. We redid the ones at the Parkway in Pine Ridge so that you can actually see the arrows. And Parks and Rec installed those and did some rock landscaping that Councilman Abernathy had requested, and some flowers and landscaping there. Our first farmers market was on the 7th of June. It was a great success. I wasn't there, but everyone I've heard said it was well attended, and the weather was great, and hopefully we'll have a good season. Our next market is scheduled for July 7th at the same place in the parking lot, and we encourage everybody to attend. The TDA, Mayor and Council, has an open position, and I'd like to know from the council, how would you like me to proceed? Do you want to see the same list as before? Would you like me to go out and get a solicitation for new? We'll do that. The mayor asked that I give an update on Tamarack and Charter Hills Road, the utility work. We're actually there now digging, putting in culverts, and we'll be starting with individual water service lines. And the question has come up, when will we be done, and when will we resurface the road? And that realistically is going to be at least 12 months from now. So I take calls almost weekly from residents down there who drive on that road. The councilman calls it, what do you call it?
Slammer.
Slammer. So it will get worse before it gets better as we dig every water service up. We'll patch it, but then it'll be resurfaced at the earliest this time next year, and probably a little bit later than that. Just a report on the May 12th storm. That was that big rainstorm we had on a Friday afternoon. Our actual costs were $67,166, not including labor. Those are direct costs that we had to buy materials to make repairs where we had washed out culverts, we had roads that were washed out, and we're currently putting together a labor cost for that.
Was there, with a lot of the gravel roads that we have on the mountain, is there one road that sticks out more than others that requires more repetition in?
From a storm like that?
Just from rain in general? Rain, wear and tear, I mean, all the elements above.
Well, they actually go down. Fox Grape Hollow is notorious. Greenbrier is the one we spend the most time and money on, and the solutions there are, there's a few, but Fox Grape Hollow and Greenbrier actually need a different type of culvert. They need a box culvert as opposed to the round tubes that we bury under the road. And the costs there are substantial, so that's why we haven't done it. The Greenbrier and Fox Grape, we just can't seem to maintain the gravel because of by the time the water gets from up here down there, it's funneled because of that creek that runs through there. It tears up Fox Grape and Greenbrier.
What'd you call it, that, the shoulders or whatever you said, box something?
No, box culvert.
Box culvert.
Right now, if you go down across from the club where Greenbrier goes towards Lake Coffee, it's always full, it's always torn up, we replace that road on a regular basis. And you'll see that we have large round culverts. I don't know the dimension, but they're probably 36 inches. Those culverts just don't handle the flow as a box culvert. A box culvert really, I don't know how to explain it. It's a square opening. It's like a little bridge, and with a square opening that passes debris and silt and a lot more water. We have plans to do that, but it's very expensive.
If the road was paved, would you have to have the box culverts?
Yes. Yeah, the box culvert handles the flow upstream. The paving would maintain the surface where the gravel is. It gets washed out.
So where we were with the budget and gravel, is that going to change what we approved, or are we still back on
Well,
trying to stick within the limits?
the council cut the budget in
Right.
paving and gravel, and that will have an effect on not so much the repairs, but we won't be able to make substantial improvements like we have been doing.
Okay.
I don't know, I'll ask this question with, and if you don't have the number, that's fine. With the amount of, and that $67,000 isn't a small number. With the amount, you were talking about Greenbrier and Foxgrave, with the amount of work, do you have an estimate on how much work we've done on Greenbrier in the past, say, 2 years, 3 years, 2 years?
We can put something together.
Because where I'm going with this is that with the amount of repeat work that we continue to do on the same roads, et cetera, or these roads that we need to focus on paving to reduce our long-term costs,
I can't do it in the new budget you just passed.
correct?
That would have to be, a future budget.
But I mean,
It
I think
is more cost efficient to maintain a paved road than a gravel road.
But I think it's things that we need to look forward on, or be forward thinking, and look at what we need to do, starting with the next budget. And some of these projects that we need to, kind of make it a priority. And, one of those, again, I think we mentioned this a couple meetings ago, is the old Public Works facility. I think we need to address that. I mean, it's a big investment for the town, and to let that thing sit idle and deteriorate.
Well, as you know, neither one of those, paving was cut and that project was not funded in the budget. Now, the Public Works, we had agreed to come back in October and address the council. You wanted me to bring you some numbers on where the budget stood at that time, and we were prepared to do that. But currently, the budget that's like 10 minutes old, we don't have those funds in the budget to do either one of those projects.
Well, it wouldn't pay to pay Greenbrier anyway unless we fix the water problem.
Well, no, that's true. The Greenbrier would need, in my opinion, box culverts, and we've done substantial amount of utility work, and it's next on the plan to do water and sewer. We've got the manholes identified, raised. Now we start doing the work.
How much does it cost per mile? Is it per mile to pave? Is that how they charge approximately?
No, it's not per mile. I get your per mile cost. It's per foot.
How long is Greenbrier?
It's a long way.
Long way.
It's probably the longest gravel road we own, and it's got multiple issues depending on where you go. I can get you that.
I know it's a long road. I was thinking it's like 3.5, 4 miles or something.
I don't know how long it is. All I know is when I drive it, it never ends.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, there you are.
He takes his RV and runs out of gas.
Anything, I'll finish if anything else. Roasting of the Hog by the Chamber of Commerce is Saturday, July 1st. And it's a drive-through at Fred's Gazebo, same as last year. And we will have our fireworks by the town and the TDA the night of July 1st as well. So put that on your agenda.
Fireworks to be at the resort again?
Yes, sir. Well, yes. That's where I plan to have it, on the summer road.
Mm-hmm.
Fire Department Open House, this is their 50th anniversary. It'll be Saturday, June 24th, 2 to 4 p.m. at Fire Station number 2. So we'd like to see everybody come out and take a look at the station, see what the fire department has to offer. And the last thing I've got, Mayor and Council, is our town clerk, Tamara, has decided to move on. Her last day will be the 21st of this month. And I'd like to thank Tamara for all she's done for the town and all the good times she's brought to us, and wish her well in her future endeavors.
Thank you.
Mayor, that's my report.
Okay. Town council comments?
I do have one. June 21st, 5 to 7 is the open house for the Historical Society. So please stop by. We have a brand new mountain music exhibit, newly installed, that's very cool. On the budget thing, and again, I've told people over and over again, I manage a family budget. This is all, for the past 3 years, been completely new to me, so I trust the departments to do what's right and to make good decisions. And that's why I approve what we have here. That's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Abernathy?
I hadn't really had a lot of negative feedback or pushback on the budget, but that's the reason I was asking about Greenbrier and some of these roads. I think some of our taxpayers or our residents, they want their road paved. I had one gentleman several weeks ago that said, you guys need to reduce taxes, and then the next sentence out of his mouth was that I want my road paved. And I'm like, well, you can't have it both ways. But, keeping my ear to the ground, what I'm hearing more is that, a lot of the folks up here, not like one or two, but they would like to see some of the gravel roads paved. And that's the reason I was asking you the questions about Greenbrier. I don't hear much about Greenbrier. I hear the expense of Greenbrier, from yourself and town employees, but not so much from residents. But I do think we need to identify some of the gravel roads that we have on Beach Mountain that are costly to maintain, and looking at making some adjustments in the next budget. The flower baskets, I know this is peanuts, but I always complain that Beach Mountain looks old and worn out. Those directional signs look nice. Thank you, Chief, and to Sean and the ones that designed those. The little rock walls around them, they look nice. And then 2 or 3 weeks ago, I noticed that there were some flower baskets hanging on some telephone poles. Whoever had that idea, that was a great idea.
That was a good idea.
And
Parks and Rec put those up.
so Beach Mountain's looking better. We have a lot of work to do. To go back to this budget we passed a few minutes ago, it's a maintenance budget, but I think that we have to, I'm always looking forward that we need to keep this momentum going, because Beach Mountain will get back to where, for whatever reason, money wasn't spent in the past, and you see where we are with the infrastructure. I'm optimistic that we're going to be able to get some money from FEMA and the state, which is going to be, like you said a moment ago, Chief, you can't beat free money. And that money's going to go a long way. And I want to thank Ryan Costin for the 99-year lease that he has provided to the town. It's going to be a game changer for us. Some of the other activities that will be associated with that. And thanks to the folks that showed up to our meeting today. Tamara, thank you for your services to our town. And thanks to all the town employees for what they do.
Okay. Cameron, also, it's been a pleasure working with you.
You as well.
Yeah, you always beat the hell out of me, but it's okay. Always correcting me. Are we planning on putting more of those pots on, or that was just an experiment?
It was an experiment. If you like them, we can put more up.
I think it does
They're
add.
very cost efficient
I
and
think
easy.
it adds a lot to the parkway.
Okay.
I think it's like I mentioned to you earlier, a couple of days ago, some flowers would be good too, some color. I mean, the green is great, but some color would be great too.
We put up
I
more
noticed that, I
baskets.
wasn't gonna say it, but it does need some color to it.
A little bit of color will add a little smile on people's face when they drive by, on their gravel roads.
Sure.
And that's all I have. So I need a motion to go into closed session.
Make a motion?
All in favor? No? What do you want? It's okay, come on, we got time. Yeah, make it short.
I apologize for being a little late. I just couldn't get up the mountain. Thank you very much for you're being very responsive.
Tell the clerk to your name and address.
Leonard Hayet, 498 St. Andrews Road, Beach Mountain, 28604. I've been driving back and forth on the paved road at the backside. I personally came forward 3 times asking for that to be done, and you guys did it. And it's so thankful that it's there. So I'm coming forward again for another try at something. We're losing our attraction for eating. I mean, I'm tired of eating hamburgers up here now. We've lost 4 good restaurants. I don't know what it would take. Maybe, I know the underground is being taken care of very well. The roads, the water, the sewage is taken care of very, and I'm beating out in the open now for tourism. And I know I should be at the tourism people, but that's not the point though. Somehow, the attractionness of Beach Mountain is being lost by having a lower level of dining. To go to the club and spend $100, nobody wants to do that, for a hamburger. We've lost something here. I don't know whether it's because most of the people who have bought houses are weekenders and they don't have the money they're not up here during the week to help the restaurants, and that could be, and the restaurants have disappeared. What would it take for the board to encourage a level here of affluence? To me, hamburgers are good, I like them, but I think a level of affluence has to be picked back up here, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm just throwing out a call to the wild. If there's something that zoning can handle, if there's something that advertising can handle, there's something that we can encourage some quality restaurants to come up here. We're supporting Banner Elk. Everybody has to go down a mountain. Thanks, guys.
We don't, we understand the situation, and we encourage whoever wants to open up a business up here, that we encourage them.
I agree.
But unfortunately, it's not nothing we can do. We just try for people to come and open businesses, and you're right. We'd like to see a couple of restaurants. Are you like to open one?
I'm not good at steaks and, no, there's maybe an encouragement in some manner that could be done from the board level. I'm just throwing it out.
We have a economic development personnel, and that's all she does is try to find new business to come up to the mountain. So, I mean, we work on it constantly. It's just that it's...
Well, look, I got the asphalt put in on the road. I'll just keep coming. Thanks very much.
All right. Can we go into closed session? Bob, you remain here.
Okay.
What's that?
to
Make-
reconvene?
Make a motion,
All in
reconvene.
favor?
Aye.
Okay, I need a motion to increase our town manager's salary to $125,000.
Make a motion, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that's for,
Thank you.
that's for appreciation for your hard work
Thank you for all you do.
And thank you for taking one for the team.
and for the gray hair that you encountered now that you,
Is it getting gray?
yes,
Getting thin. Well, thank you very much.
You
Certainly
look forward-
appreciate that.
You
Yes.
Look forward to go out for a $100 hamburger tonight.
I can.
we felt it was definitely well-deserved.
Well, thank you.
Thank
I
you for all you
appreciate
do,
that very
Chief.
much.
Need a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in
Motion,
favor?
second.
Aye.